Hello, welcome to News on NTA International and Nancy Goody Anunihu. First, the headlines. Buhari approves establishment of a public-private partnership-styled infrastructure company in Nigeria with initial seed capital of 1 trillion naira. INEC chairman says no section of the country will be left out in ongoing efforts to create more polling units. United Nations Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed wants youths to leverage UN programs towards developing their capacity. And Chinese mark Lunar Year against COVID-19 pandemic. Welcome to details of the news. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the establishment of a public-private partnership-styled infrastructure company named Infraco with an initial seed capital of 1 trillion naira. It is envisaged that over time, the entity will grow to 15 trillion naira in assets and capital. Laolu Akonde, in a press release, stated that the Infraco will be one of the premier infrastructure finance entities in Africa and will be wholly dedicated to Nigeria's infrastructure development. The entity has been developed with concepts designs from the National Economic Council, NEC, and the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo is to chair a steering committee tasked with setting up of the company. The initial seed capital for the entity will come from the Central Bank of Nigeria, the Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority, NSIA, and the Africa Finance Corporation. The board of Infraco will be chaired by the Central Bank Governor and include the Managing Director of the Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority. Chairman Senate Committee on Public Accounts Matthew Uwuhide says a more comprehensive and transparent mechanism is key to prudent management of public funds. This was the position of the committee during screening of the new Auditor General of the Federation, Adolphus Aguhu. National Assembly correspondent Mobolaji Moribirin reports.
Adolphus Agugu is an accountant with vast experience in financial auditing, having been newly appointed Auditor General of the Federation by President Muhammadu Buhari. Here he appears before the Senate Committee on Public Accounts for screening. The lawmakers are pointing to critical areas of need and other lapses in the financial sector, and how the new Auditor General will address them when confirmed.
What are you going to do from all withdrawals, from all that is given out on service-wide votes? And the years that are passed, you are going to get us the report. And from this year, I'm telling you, last service-wide vote to the tune of 758 billion. If you go and check that one, that's almost 0.5% of our budget. Service-wide vote.
With the office of the Auditor General of the Federation as key to the nation's financial proprietaries, the Auditor General nominee is positive of fresh ideas.
Experience gathered over the years will be put to full use if my nomination is confirmed by this distinguished Senate Public Accounts Committee.
Reports by the committee would be submitted to the Senate as plenary for further legislative action. From the National Assembly, Mobolaji Moribiri, NTA News.
The federal government plans to collaborate with state governments in the northeast to boost the farming of cash crops and cereals in the region. Musa Baba Aliyu reports that the Federal Ministry of Agriculture is supporting farmers with varieties of seeds towards achieving this objective.
These are farmers singing and dancing to show how happy they are with this intervention coming from the federal government. The government is supporting the farmers with high-yielding varieties of cash crop seeds and farming equipment.
At least 35% of these inputs are targeted at women farmers.
In northern Borno,
Ibrahim Zanna is among the beneficiaries of the intervention. He says Borno and other states in the northeast will soon regain their position as the major producers of groundnuts and wheat.
my members are eager to farm groundnut.
The Chad Basin Research Institute is also receiving more support to enhance research for new varieties of seeds that can be adapted in the northeast. The Federal Ministry of Agriculture, under its rural project, constructed this mini farmers market in this community located in Maiduguri. Mustafa Babashehuri says the idea is to support petty traders who are into buying and selling of agricultural produce. In Maiduguri, Musa Baba Ali, NTA News.
The Minister of State for Budget and National Planning, Clem Abba, has expressed satisfaction over the enormous human capacity available at the National Space Research and Development Agency. At the commissioning of the geo-referenced infrastructure demographic data in National Space Research and Development Agency headquarters Abuja, the minister says the Grid 3 Nigeria project and the implementation team are domiciled at the space agency, expressing the confidence that the facility will improve data collection in synergy with sister agencies for space research development. Minister Abba also pointed to adequate funding as key to further development of the agency. The estimation of grid project's data infrastructure for good governance, he affirmed, will assist in filling the gaps in sustainable development as geospatial technology remains an important tool for national development. Francis Obaji, a complainant before the Independent Investigative Panel on allegations of human rights violations by defunct SARS, has narrated how SARS operatives in Abuja detained him for 35 days without food amid severe torture and degrading treatment over theft of a television set in his office. Judiciary correspondent Vera Chumuba reports.
It was tales of pathetic stories of human rights abuses by petitioners who testified before Gabatetengi, who conducted the proceedings on behalf of the 11-member panel. The petitioner, Francis Obaji, told the panel that even after meeting the bail conditions set by the DPO of CTID FCT, he was transferred to SARS.
They handcuffed my hand, my toes, together my legs, and pinned it with an iron. They turned me upside down, they hung me on that tree. He tortured me. He went ahead and took a stone, a very heavy stone, and placed on my chest and tied my nose to without my mouth.
Another petitioner, John Ubu, an electronic seller, told the panel that his refusal to yield to an allegation of doing business with someone he does not know earned him an insertion of iron on his leg and partial loss of sight.
The major challenge that I had there were the stick that they were using to beat, which at the point they now broke my leg. I couldn't walk again at that particular time.
Kingsley Carlo, also a complainant, narrated how SARS operatives in Abuja shot him also on the leg, destroying a major artery that led to amputation of his leg at the National Hospital, Abuja. He also informed the panel that the DPO of Maitama Police Station at the time assisted him with the sum of 150,000 naira to augment the cost of his treatment. In Abuja, Vera Chumuba, NTA.
INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu says no section of the country or organization will be left out in the ongoing efforts to create more polling units. The assurance was given during our stakeholders consultative meeting with BIDIA in Abuja.
We'll brief and consult widely before we eventually take a decision on this important issue of voter access to polling units. But in any case, we have made the discussion paper available. So our intentions have been clearly spelled out in the document, so nobody can read ulterior motives into what we are doing, because whatever we said we are going to do is on the table. We have published the document, we have widely shared the hard copies, and we have also made the soft copies available on our website and social media platforms. So everything is in the open.
INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu speaking on transparency and the creation of polling units. The Director General of the All Progressives Congress, APC Governors Forum, Salihu Mohammed Lukman, has appealed to party faithful to take advantage of the current nationwide APC membership registration and revalidation exercise as a step to recruiting committed party members who will encourage leaders to allow constructive internal debate in the party. The Director General in a statement said the APC was able to deepen political competition in the country through internal contests as a strategy which is strengthening the definitive credentials of the party so far. The APC Governors Forum Director General aligned himself with the opinion of some stakeholders of the party, saying the capacity to correct wrong decisions using the ongoing membership registration will strengthen democracy and promote the progressive mantra of the APC. The DG also added that the party's gains in promoting respect among leaders need to be protected, while issues of who qualifies to be a member of APC should be unambiguous. Governor Bala Mohammed of Bauchi State has faulted some state governors for promoting ethnic tension in Nigeria arising from the recent herders-farmer clashes in some parts of the country. The governor gave the indication at the closing of the 2021 Bauchi Correspondent Chapel of the Nigerian Union of Journalists Press Week. Mahmoud Ibn Mohammed reports that the Director General of the NTA, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, chaired the occasion.
It was a moment of introspection for members of the Bauchi Correspondent Chapel of the Nigerian Union of Journalists as they marked their 2021 Press Week with the theme, "The Role of the Media in Promoting Peace and Unity in Nigeria."
We will continue to use our pen or keypad as is applicable these days to contribute positively towards the development of our state and the nation.
Responding on the theme of the week, Governor Bala Mohammed, who cautioned some governors to guard against utterances and policies that threatens the peace and unity of Nigeria, called on journalists to be cautious of their reportage, exercise restraint, and avoid taking sides in issues of herders-farmers clashes to safeguard the unity and peace of the country.
You don't accommodate other tribes. We are also accommodating your tribes in Bauchi and other places. We have so many chief people working in farming in Alkaleri, farming in Tamawakalewa, farming in Bohol. Has anybody told them to go? We have not, because they are on inalienable right to be there.
Going down memory lane, representative of NTA's Director General gave account of the roles journalists played towards entrenching peace and the return of democracy in Nigeria.
Given agents of disruption, agents of disunity, agents of disharmony, liberal media space to talk down on Nigeria, to talk down on Nigerian institutions that have, assisted us in being what we are today. Our fault lines have been, exacerbated by complicity of the media.
The 2021 Bauchi Correspondent Chapels Week climaxed with presentation of awards to Governor Bala Mohammed, prominent sons and daughters of Bauchi State, and members of the Correspondent Chapel. In Bauchi, Mahmoud Ibn Mohammed, NTA News.
You're watching the news on NTA International, reaching you from Abuja. More reports after this time out.
Experience unlimited superfast internet access from Intel 4G. Intel. Live more.
Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, says the ongoing nationwide APC registration and revalidation exercise is a step towards consolidating internal democracy and the party. The SGF stated this shortly after revalidating his APC membership in Adamawa State. Yusuf Jika reports.
On Ongoing APC membership registration and revalidation is going on peacefully in Adamawa State, with people trooping in for the exercise. Secretary to the government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, joined thousands of party supporters to revalidate his membership at Unit 009, Godaba Ward, Yolanut local government area of Adamawa State. Boss Mustafa said APC remains the only political party with a reputable ideology that is impacting positively on the lives of the people. He enjoined the party faithful and loyalists to come out en masse to participate in the ongoing exercise with a view to building strong and prosperous APC.
So I want to commend this exercise and urge our people in Adamawa to come up in their great numbers to ensure that they register, because this will determine what will happen in 2023 and into the future.
In Yola, Yusuf Jika, NTA News.
A former Senate President and the leader of the All Progressives Congress, APC in the Southeast, Senator Ken Namani, says with the massive infrastructural development embarked upon by the present administration in the country, especially in the Southeast zone, the people of the area are convinced to join and remain with the APC. He was speaking while revalidating his membership of the party at his Enugu South Ward 2 Amechi Owani polling unit in Enugu State. Chinenye Nwoye reports.
Between the APC stakeholders in Enugu State and the Revalidation and Registration Committee, which sealed peace talks ahead of the 2023 elections, kickstarted the registration and revalidation exercise for members. To show his strong commitment to the party, the APC leader in the Southeast and former Senate President revalidated his membership at the polling unit 007, Ward 2, Amechi 1, Enugu South local government area of the state, and urged the people of the community, the state, and indeed all Nigerians to join the party and be part of the change initiative. Senator Jonathan Zwingina, who led other members of the Revalidation and Registration Committee in Enugu State, said there is need for everyone to take advantage of the exercise and join the national movement.
Any member of the APC is in no way disadvantaged by this exercise.
Others who spoke at the event, including the caretaker chairman of APC Enugu State, Dr. Ben Moye, encouraged interested persons from 18 years and above to register with the party and be in the mainstream of politics for a better future. In Enugu, Chinenye Nwoye, NTA News.
The Nigeria Governors Forum, NGF, is set to inaugurate a high-level group of professionals who will advise on the procurement and administration of COVID-19 vaccines. This was part of the forum's communique at its 25th teleconference. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports.
The forum resolution is aimed at ensuring the right information about the efficacy of the ravaging COVID-19 vaccines reaches the nook and cranny of the country. The forum is actively engaging the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Basic Healthcare Provision Fund, UBEC, and Save 1 Million Lives program for fiscal utilization in the areas of health, education, and empowerment. NGF also resolved to distribute outstanding funds under disbursements local indicator amongst 36 states and the FCT, and received commendation from 36 states first ladies on the sustained support against gender-based violence. Governors are also concerned over headers farmers' disagreement and promise to accelerate modern grazing initiative of the National Livestock Transformation Plan. NGF agrees to provide high-level support for the implementation of states' financial transparency, accountability, and sustainability, which will be MDA's incentive-driven. The forum is also working closely with the Presidential Economic Advisory Council, Nigeria Economy and Sustainability Plan, and Nigerian National Broadband Plan 2020 to 2025 to eradicate poverty and mitigate impact of COVID-19. Nigeria Governors Forum also commiserates with family of their colleague and governor of Delta State, Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, over the passing on of his father. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
Cross River State Governor Ben Ayade is calling on the federal government to set up a COVID-19 vaccine production plant as a long-term plan for the country to effectively tackle the COVID-19 pandemic. Paul Abel reports.
With plans for Nigeria to purchase COVID-19 vaccines, Governor Ben Ayade is advising the Presidential Task Force to be cautious in the procurement process.
There are different types of vaccines. There are some of them that are using attenuated vaccines. So if it's attenuated, it means you have attenuated their life forms. So you need to store them in that deactivated form, and sometimes at minus 80 degrees.
Recently, the Minister of Health announced that 2 laboratories in Nigeria have come up with vaccines to undergo clinical tests, and Governor Ben Ayade believes that this is an avenue for the federal government to invest in the production of vaccines.
We can also start investing heavily in vaccine production. We have the capacity, we have the competence, we have the educated professors of virology, we have vaccinologists, we have a team that can do this. To set up a vaccine production plant is just $51 million.
For the country to produce our own vaccines, well-meaning Nigerians will need to support the initiative to make it a reality. In Calabar, Paul Abel, NTA News.
The United Nations International Children's Education Fund, UNICEF, says 16 million doses of COVAX vaccine for COVID-19 pandemic will soon arrive Nigeria. The UNICEF country representative to Nigeria, Peter Hawkins, who was speaking during an advocacy visit to Ondo State, says the vaccine will cover 40% of the country's population. Abiola Ario reports.
During its advocacy visit to Ondo State, UNICEF disclosed that adequate efforts are being put in place to ensure Nigeria secure the right level of vaccines with the plan of equitable distribution through the primary health care centers at the world level so that the vulnerable, especially at the rural communities, will be covered.
In the meantime, we're exploring how else to bring vaccine in that allows for Nigeria to go to 40% by the end of the year.
Ondo State Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, however, identified poor energy supplies to the health centers at the world level as a major challenge that can hamper the process by the time the vaccines are available.
Maybe Nigeria cannot be exempted from supply. Because we supply most of them waste. Let's be fair to ourselves. So maybe we have to wait for this company. They want to say it's about 65% efficient now. That doesn't mean their storage.
The state government also solicits the assistance of UNICEF in the areas of crafting state development plan and ending open defecation on the state, particularly Akure, the state capital. In Akure, Abiola Ario, NTA News.
The Airports Council International has accredited the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, and the Port Harcourt International Airport, or Magwa, in its Airport Health Accreditations Program.
The Airport Health Accreditation Program is designed to assess how aligned airports' health measures are with the ACI Aviation Business Restart and Recovery Guidelines and ICAO Council Aviation Restart Task Force recommendations, along with industry best practices. Both the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport and the Port Harcourt International Airport have become the first and second respectively to be accredited in this program. This follows efforts by the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, FAN, to ensure the safety and security of all travelers and airport users following the beef up of safety protocols at all airports in view of the new wave of COVID-19. A monitoring team was set up for each airport to drive total compliance with which is in line with the Airports Council International ACI Airport Health Accreditation Program, which is to reassure the traveling public of the safe precautions being taken to reduce any risks to their health, as well as maintaining secure airport facilities.
As at 12th February 2021, NCDC confirms 1,005 new cases of COVID-19 in Nigeria. A breakdown of the figures shows that Lagos recorded 204 cases, Kwara 155, Oyo 124, Plateau 80, FCT 75, Edo 56, Osun 48, Ondo 41, Kaduna 40, while Rivers had 40 cases. Other confirmed cases are Taraba 35, Borno 32, Ekiti 21, Ogun 20, Kano 14, Bayelsa 8, Delta 7, Bauchi 3, and Jigawa 2. Total confirmed cases now stand at 144,521, 118,866 discharged, and 1,734 deaths recorded, unfortunately. France advises single vaccine dose for those previously infected with COVID-19, and Russia threatens to cut ties with the European Union over sanctions. Joyce Ometo has more on Global Update.
The French Health Authority has recommended that only a single shot of COVID-19 vaccine should be administered to people who had been previously infected, adding that people previously infected retain an immune memory that calls for only a single dose. In Australia, the state of Victoria will enter a strict 5-day coronavirus lockdown to suppress an outbreak of the UK strain. Officials this week found 13 cases stemming from a quarantine worker who became infected at a Melbourne hotel. And latest on statistics, the global figure for confirmed cases of coronavirus have reached 108 million, with 2.3 million deaths. In the meantime, Russia says it is prepared to cut ties with the European Union if the bloc follows through with a threat to impose punishing sanctions on Moscow. The EU has raised the prospect of further sanctions amid a row over the treatment of the jailed Russian opposition leader, Alexei Navalny. On the legal front, member states of the International Criminal Court are set to begin voting to select a new prosecutor for a 9-year term after failing to find a consensus candidate. A secret ballot will be held on Friday to pick one of 4 candidates vying to replace lead prosecutor Fatou Bensouda, who is under United States sanction and is scheduled to leave on June 15. In a recent development, Myanmar has granted amnesty to more than 23,000 prisoners. The coup leader called on people to join hands with the military for democracy. But despite that, thousands of people have rallied demanding a return of the civilian administration. The release of the prisoners comes on Union Day, which is observed to mark the unification of the country. And that's where we end this segment. I am Joyce Ometu.
And living up to its mandate of preventing financial hardship and the process of accessing healthcare services by Nigerians, the National Health Insurance Scheme is restructuring its personnel, facilities and programs on the use of effective feedback mechanism to enhance service delivery. This was the thrust of a sensitization and interactive forum organized by the scheme in Minna, Niger State. Suleiman Godoji reports.
The sensitization exercise focuses on virtual use of feedback mechanism from both the organization's clients and the employees, which will serve as a tool to enhance its performance. The interactive session also exposes the participants to effective implementation of rights, privileges, and limitations of enrollees under the scheme, with particular attention to formal and informal sectors.
One of the major challenges that we have is because a lot of our enrollees do not insist on their rights.
I've also added to that quality assurance visit to most of our healthcare facilities to ensure that they comply with the NHS operational guideline.
We need from time to time to talk to ourselves, both those who are giving the service and those who are receiving the service.
While highlighting measures being put in place by the scheme in achieving universal health coverage, the zonal coordinator, North Central, also applauded Niger State government for keying into the initiative with the introduction of Night Care to cater for the health needs of the people of the state. The scheme established under National Health Insurance Act 2004 by the federal government is aimed at providing easy access to health care for all Nigerians. In Mina, Suleiman Kudogi, NTA News.
Time to take another break. More stories when we return.
Latest entrant, latest technology. Welcome to Entel 4G LTE Advanced and experience super fast internet access today. Visit entel.com.ng or any of our stores in Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt to get started. Entel. Live more.
Every February 14 is marked as Valentine's Day globally. To mark this day in Nigeria, the National Orientation Agency is preaching the message of love through the initiative of Fall in Love with Nigeria campaign. Kenneth Nanim reports.
Valentine's Day celebration is an expression of love with family and friends. Many believe it is an affair for the youths and agile.
A round of applause for her.
Now, with the Fall in Love with Nigeria campaign, a patriotic initiative, the National Orientation Agency is redirecting attention of the youth and other Nigerians on national development.
In order for Nigerians to achieve the greatness for which it is destined, you and I, leaders and followers alike, must do our part. Great nations are not built by backpassing or convenient excuses, but by patriotic citizens who are willing to make the necessary sacrifices to ensure that the desired greatness is achieved.
The Fall in Love with Nigeria project is also emphasizing on the need for Nigerians to adhere strictly to all COVID-19 safety protocols.
COVID is real, and if it is real, then the precautions we are taking should also be real.
The Fall in Love with Nigeria campaign, which goes across states of the Federation, the National Orientation Agency says is characterized with messages of patriotism for every Nigerian. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike says, despite the inauguration of the Advisory Council of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, all producing state governors are still sidelined in the affairs of the agency. The governor spoke when he played host to members of the House of Representatives Committee on NDDC led by its chairman Olubunmi Tunji Ojo at Government House, Port Harcourt. Ogedi Yekwere completes the story.
Governor Wike expressed disappointment that the management of the Niger Delta Development Commission now acts like a state on its own, refusing to interface with the governors of the oil-producing states to strategically develop the Niger Delta region because of the undue interferences by the authorities. He said, contrary to the assumption that the governors of the Niger Delta are critical stakeholders in the affairs of the Commission.
From 2015, we never had any governing council. Even when we were inaugurated, we're not involved. Anything that happens in the DDC.
He urged the National Assembly to ensure that planned amendment of the Electoral Act will usher in a new era of free and fair elections in the country. Leader of the delegation, Olubunmi Tunji Ojo, said they are in Port Harcourt for an oversight to the NDDC, and their visit to Governor Wike is predicated on the fact that he is a critical stakeholder.
We cannot continue to do things in the old way and expect a different result. We have to think anew, we have to act anew.
The chairman of the committee assured that under their watch, they will ensure NDDC work in synergy with critical stakeholders of the region. In Port Harcourt, Ogedi Yekwere, NTA News.
The federal government says it is committed towards ensuring that all roads, rehabilitation and construction going on across the country are completed within the stipulated time. Minister of State for Works and Housing, Abubakar Aliyu, said this while on an assessment visit to Section 3 of Abuja Kaduna Kano project. Mohammed Rabiu Ali reports.
It is a dream come true for Nigerians as the road that links the north and southern part of the country is receiving federal government attention. The visit by the Minister of State for Works to 137 km Section 3 Zaria Kano is part of the routine assessment in ensuring quality and timely completion of the project. The 26.6 km Kano Western Bypass and Kano Kasina Section 1 inspected have reached appreciable percentage of completion. The minister urged the contracting firms to expedite pace of work. While at the Wudil Gaya Shuarin Kano Mediguri dualization project, Abubakar Aliyu expressed satisfaction with the quality of work being done so far.
We are fully committed to see that we do it within the shortest possible time. Duna to Zaria, which is Section 2, will be delivered in the last quarter of 2022. And then Zaria to Kano a little later. We are 100% assured that any work we do within the school will be paid in the shortest possible time. We have no more complaints as far as funding is concerned.
The project, when completed, is expected not only to stand the test of time, but contribute to the socio-economic development of the country. Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
Major General Samuel Adebayo has assumed office as the Chief of Defense Intelligence, CDI. Until his recent appointment, Major General Samuel Adebayo was the Chief of the Military Intelligence Nigerian Army. He replaced the former CDI, Air Vice Marshal Mohammed Usman, now retired.
My leadership philosophy is that of teamwork, transparency, and integrity. I will want to see a Defense Intelligence Agency with cutting-edge capacity to deliver on given mandates to the Nigerian people. To achieve this, we will prioritize Alpha, core intelligence efforts in support of the ongoing operations and even future national engagements. Bravo, enhancing the technical intelligence capacity of this agency through acquisition of more advanced intelligence enablers and upgrading the existing ones.
Former Chief of Naval Staff Vice Admiral Iboyete Ebans has described his over 40 years of military service as a remarkable story. He says he remains committed to fostering development plans that will ensure the protection of Nigeria's maritime environment. Lynn Leneke was at the pulling out ceremony and now reports.
Appointed as the 20th Chief of the Naval Staff on the 13th July 2015, Vice Admiral Iboyete Ebans leaves a legacy of accomplishments that include total acquisition of 378 platforms of varying categories, a year-on-year decrease in trend of piracy attacks between 2015 to 2020, and infrastructural renewal across naval bases and formations. The pulling out ceremony was a spectacle of colorful parade on the grounds of NNS Kora. The former Navy chief, in his remark, charged officers and ratings to build on the gains achieved for sustainable growth.
My wish that from you and from within, that we support the Navy to attain those heights through the Chief of the Naval Staff.
Some close associates praised the efforts of the former chief at ensuring maritime security.
Within our own territorial zones, you will discover that we have a very limited number of attacks.
In Lagos, Lynn Leneke, NTA News.
Frozen meats weighing more than 950 kilograms has been intercepted and destroyed by the Nigeria Agricultural Quarantine Service. The meat, allegedly imported from South Africa, was seized at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos. Michael Olaleye reports.
The Nigeria Agricultural Quarantine Service
is vested with the responsibility of controlling regional and international movement of plant, animal, and aquatic resources. But with the emergence of zoonotic diseases, in which the ravaging COVID-19 falls into this category, there has been greater demand to intensify surveillance to prevent spread of exotic diseases from agricultural products. This seizure is one of the results of extensive intelligence gathering, and according to the agency, the items were intercepted on the 6th of February, but the consignee, knowing the gravity of the offense, is at large.
Now, this is what should be done to anybody or any product, rather, that came in without import permit and necessary health certification.
Quantifying the financial value of the frozen meat is still sketchy, simply because the agency could not lay its hands on import documents.
Investigation is still ongoing. We are trying to make effort to locate the importer. Right now, the only person we are able to get hold of is the driver, but he is not the importer. Investigation is ongoing for us to locate the agent and the importer. And as soon as we get hold of them, the law will take its course.
The Nigeria Agricultural Quarantine Service is not alone in this difficult task, but enjoys support from other security outfits in keeping tab on smugglers of agricultural products. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NTA News.
United Nations Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed has advised the youth to leverage the organization's programs towards developing their capacity and adding value to the nation's growth. This was while talking to a group of youth in Kaduna who are undergoing training on leadership and good governance. Mohammed Umarajingi reports.
The UN Deputy Secretary General is here at the instance of the Governor of Kaduna State, Nasru Ahmad El-Rufai.
She is one of those examples of how, with innate intelligence, focus, and a lot of hard work, barriers can be broken, glass ceilings can be shattered.
Dr. Amina Muhammad told this group of youth to embrace hard work and discipline and loyalty as future leaders.
I think the relationship is important to speak about, because that's really what takes you through your life. It's those relationships you build, the journey that you take. You must leave a place well. You will always come back to it, and you will always need to draw on those relationships.
The youth are currently undergoing training on leadership and good governance. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Umarajingi, NTA News.
Politicians and heads of international organizations have sent best wishes to Chinese people on this year's Spring Festival. The Chinese lunar year of 2021 is called a Year of the Ox. Adebola Brooksley Sunday reports.
In Chinese culture, the ox is a valued animal. This is because of its role in agriculture, positive characteristics such as being hardworking and honest. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres congratulated China and thanked the Chinese people for their support to the UN and the multilateralism.
Happy Lunar New Year. I send my best wishes to everyone celebrating the Lunar New Year. This year is the year of the ox, the same sign as the year of my birth. In 2021, we must stand together to fight the virus. And I send my best wishes to all for prosperity, health, and happiness in the year of the ox.
Thai Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha said the Thai government this year has decided to make the Spring Festival a legal holiday for the first time. Prime Minister of Equatorial Guinea, Francisco Obama Asu, Colombia's Culture Minister, Felipe Boturago, and Lord Mayor, City of Manchester, Tommy George, wish all sides will move forward and carry out the cultural exchange as a bridge to the ties between them.
We are very proud to welcome in the Chinese New Year of the Ox and to celebrate the many contributions the Chinese community make to the economic, educational, and social life of our city.
ox takes the second place on the Chinese zodiac cycle of 12 animals. Adebola, Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
This is news on NTA International. We'll return with more stories after the break.
What limits you? Nothing. Who defines you? No one. Where can you go? Everywhere. With unlimited super-fast internet access, free Intel to Intel calls, and crystal clear quality conversations, you can do and be whatever you want to be. Intel. Live.
The remains of the first executive governor of Lagos State, Alhaji Lateef Kayode Jakonde, have been laid to rest. He was buried Friday evening at the Ikoyi Vaults in Lagos after lying in state at his country home. Adeniyi Taiwo completes the story.
The remains of Lateef Jakonde, the first civilian governor of Lagos State, been lowered into his final resting place as his loved ones struggle to hold back their emotions. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu led other dignitaries, including former governors in the southwest, to say their final farewell to the late statesman at a short ceremony by his graveside. Earlier, there was a line in state at his Ilupeju residence where families, friends, and other residents of Lagos State filed past his body to catch a final glimpse. While Lateef Jakonde, like all mortals, was not expected to live forever, his impact in the political landscape of the nation echoes in the minds of Nigerians, while the establishment of the State University, LASU, and free quality education bear loud testimony to his exploits in the education sector. Many Lagosians will not forget in a hurry his low-cost housing estates across the state.
The best way to deepen his memory in us is for us to develop an ideology around his beliefs.
Of the Obafemi Awolowo progressive political ideology, Lateef Jakonde was one of the nationalists who fought for Nigeria's independence using his incisive pen as a tool.
He and Alhaji Joseph mentored me and brought me up in journalism. He was a great ambassador of the profession in politics.
We are formally naming the NUJ Lighthouse Lateef Jakonde.
As the first governor of Lagos State, he would also be remembered for promoting the media industry by setting up the first state television, LTV, in 1980. As he journeys home and his pen no longer dripping, it is expected that a future crop of leaders will borrow a leaf from his pattern lifestyle and dedication to humanity. In Lagos, Adeniyi Taiwo, NTA News.
And the first civilian governor of Lagos State, Alhaji Lateef Kayode Jakonde, who died at the age of 91, has been described as an epitome of good governance in Lagos State. Musa Toliat in this report takes a look at the life and times of the late nonagenarian who changed the narratives in various spheres of the state.
Late Lateef Kayode Jakonde was born on July 23, 1929 in Ekpetedo area of Lagos Island, Lagos State. He started his education at the Lagos Public School, Enowa, Lagos Island, before proceeding to Burnham Memorial Methodist School, Port Harcourt, between 1934 and 1943. He studied briefly at King's College, Lagos in 1943 and later enrolled at Ilesha Grammar School in 1945, where his journalistic instinct became apparent after he edited a literary paper called The Quarterly Mirror. His journey into journalism started in 1949, where he worked with the Daily Service before joining the Nigerian Tribune in 1953. He was appointed editor-in-chief of the Tribune by the owner, Chief Obafemi Awolowo in 1956. LKJ, as was fondly called, left the Tribune in 1975 and established John West Publications and began to publish the Lagos News. Was the first president of the Newspaper Proprietors Association of Nigeria, NPAN.
The NUJ Lighthouse in Victoria Island, EBT for the NUJ in 1982. We renamed that house Latif Kawede Jakonde House.
Late Latif Jakonde became governor of Lagos State under the platform of Unity Party of Nigeria, UPN, and served from 1979 to 1983. He made his mark and redefined governance to set a high standard for subsequent political office holders in Lagos and in the country.
It was Jakonde's policy in education then that I enjoyed.
From the grassroots, he brought us up by housing me. I don't pay house rent till today.
He was later appointed Minister of Works and served under former head of state, late Sani Abacha, between 1993 and 1998. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
Two Nigerian club sides go head-to-head in CAF Confederation Cup in Aba. Details on our sports update with Samara Ebiwe.
Welcome to Sports Update. We begin with golf, where 64 senior amateur players are set to vie for honors at the Maiden Golf Sixes Nigeria 2021 tournament, which tees off on Saturday at the TYB International Golf Resort and Country Club in Abuja.
The match play, alternate shots, green sum format, is not common, it's new. So that's going to be introduced, and they will experience it, and I'm sure they will like the format and enjoy the game.
Away from golf now, continental football returns on the NTA Live this Sunday with the CAF Confederation Cup tie between Enyimba International and neighbors Rivers United in the first leg, second round preliminary match in Aba. Both Nigerian clubs are meeting for the first time on this stage. Staying with football, action continues in the Premier League this weekend with Crystal Palace welcoming Burnley at the Selhurst Park. The match will be live on NTA at 4 p.m. on Saturday. Other fixtures will see Manchester City up against Tottenham with Jose Mourinho's pride at stake yet again. Arsenal play Leeds United on Sunday, while Thomas Tuchel, Chelsea's manager, hopes to extend his winning run against Newcastle on Monday. Finally, Bayern Munich are still celebrating their 6th trophy in 9 months after winning the Club World Cup in Qatar on Thursday, to complete a clean sweep of trophies after a treble last season. This is the 8th year in a row that a European club has won the FIFA Club World Cup. And that's Sports Update. I am Tamara Ebiwe.
And with this Sports Update, we conclude the news. Always remember to join NTA to fight against rape and rapists. Bye for now.